Just so from a personal perspective, I would say one major obstacle that had to overcome was just being reared in a home with a single mom who was resilient herself and was responsible for raising three girls all by herself. And just growing up in impoverished situations. I mean, we didn't have a car. We walked a lot of days, to school. There were certain restrictions that were on us, and there were just things that we didn't have. And I remember sharing with my sons before, there was no, this is my clothes, these are my clothes, and those are your clothes. It was one drawer for the pants and one drawer for the tops, and even one underwear drawer, And so it was, you just get what you get. And if it doesn't fit, just, tie it up, put a belt on, and you just work with that. And so to me, that was an obstacle to overcome growing up with that mindset of just doing what you could to make it.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I'm talking to my friend Te'Retta Hall. And Teretta and I go back, I don't know, maybe about 15 years. Yeah. We've known each other for a good while, and I'm so excited to have gotten to know you so much better over these past couple of years. But Teretta is a certified personal trainer and wellness coach, and a whole lot more. So Teretta, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so hello everyone. Excited to be here as part of the So What Success Stories. As Summer mentioned, I am Te'Retta Hall. I am the owner and founder of the Total Concept, where our focus, our mission is to strengthen your mind, your body, and your soul. And we do that through health and wellness initiatives. We do that through ministry opportunities. And we also do that through retreats, Bible studies, get-togethers, you name it. We do that because we feel that it is important not only that you look good, but you feel good and you really are good as well.
I love it. And Teretta, your mom, talk about that a little bit. You got two boys, right?
I am a mom to two adult sons. I am soon to be a mother-in-law this year, so that's very exciting as well. I got to mention that because I absolutely love her. I am also a Gigi to Azias, who is 4 years old. I have one grandson, so yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you're from Memphis, Teretta?
Born and raised, Memphis, Tennessee, South Memphis, Kansas and Devant. Yeah, I grew up over in that area. So yeah, born and raised.
Memphis, well, I love it. I love so Teretta, I've had an opportunity to get to know you over these years, and I've seen ups and downs and highs and lows with you and your journey. And I'm just super excited to be talking to you right now because you are definitely a woman who is strong and resilient, and you exemplify everything that this is about. In this program, I have what I call the So What Success system. And it's my belief that if you can, anyone can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, they can have so what success. And that is success no matter what happens in life. And Teretta, you are a so what success woman. So I would love for you to first talk to us a little bit about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome and just how you've done it to get to where you are today.
Just so from a personal perspective, I would say one major obstacle that I had to overcome was just being reared in a home with a single mom who was resilient herself and was responsible for raising three girls all by herself. And just growing up in impoverished situations. I mean, we didn't have a car. We walked a lot of days, to school. There were certain restrictions that were on us, and there were just things that we didn't have. And I remember sharing with my sons before, there was no, this is my clothes, these are my clothes, and those are your clothes. It was one drawer for the pants and one drawer for the tops, and even one underwear drawer, And so it was, you just get what you get. And if it doesn't fit, just, tie it up, put a belt on, and you just work with that. And so to me, that was an obstacle to overcome growing up with that mindset of just doing what you could to make it.
Mhm.
And then being into a situation and growing up and maturing over the years and garnering new experiences just as an adult and as a mom and having your own children, your own family. It's like, okay, just because you grew up that way doesn't mean you have to live that way. So to me, that was a major obstacle from a personal standpoint. Professionally, a recent major obstacle was I was laid off from my job, corporate America. I was with the company for 24 years, and 2 months after celebrating my year 24, I was laid off. I did not have a plan in place. I was already a certified personal trainer, certified wellness coach. I was not doing it full time. And when that happened, it was just like, ooh, okay. So what am I going to do now? Being a single earner, household, it's different. And so that was big. But I would say because of my belief in God, my faith in God, being a tither and a sower myself, and not only that, but having people around me and people in my life that are genuine, that are sincere, that really and truly love me as a person, those people were able to pour into me and to lift me up and to encourage me in that moment to say, wait a minute, this doesn't mean you stop. This means that you pivot, you make some adjustments, and then you just flow. So since 2022, that was in November 2022. Since then, I have been full-time entrepreneurship, and God has just opened so many doors for me, not just through health and wellness, but through my ministry as well, through outreach opportunities, through consulting, independent contractor and consulting opportunities as well, because I'm also a nonprofit fundraising consultant. A lot of people don't know that about me.
I didn't
Uh,
know that about you. We have to talk about that.
yeah, yeah. And so I'm just grateful, and I'm just getting chills right now. Just grateful that in the midst of all of that, because we can get so dependent on that job, especially when you've been there double-digit years. You know what I'm saying? You get comfortable. And I have been working from home since 2002. So even before there was a pandemic, I was just in this office of one, and it was just, I thought my world came crashing down. But on the other hand, God was like, no, baby, this is the time for us to raise this world up. So yeah,
I
that,
love it. I love it. I heard you say
yeah.
when they released you, you said, so what am I going to do now? So immediately I go to so what and so now what? That's where your mind went to. So now
Mhm.
what? Now it was time. It was time for you to be a full-time entrepreneur. And I think we really got to know each other at an entrepreneur
Yes,
conference a couple years
yes.
ago. Like,
Hmm.
okay, it's time. It's time. I'm also
Right.
thinking about before I get to the next part of So What Success System that you are a marathon runner. You're not only a coach, fitness trainer, coach, you are a marathon runner. And so talk a little bit about that and the journey and the mindset that it takes to do that.
So yeah, I am a marathoner. And it's this conversation is really strategic. Just yesterday, I went live on my social media platform and shared that I was selected for the Tokyo Marathon 2025. I'll be going to Tokyo, Japan, to run marathon number 13 in March. And running a marathon, it takes fortitude, it takes resilience, it takes that so what, so what now mentality, because in order to be successful, in a marathon, you have to plan, you have to train. You have to plan, you have to train, you have to be disciplined, you have to be committed, you have to overcome obstacles. So all this stuff, that you have as part of your mission and your objectives with your program and your business. Yeah, that's what it takes to be a marathoner. And then when you start traveling out of the country, um, to take on 26.2 miles, it's one thing to do it here at home. You got St. Jude Marathon. I've been running the St. Jude Marathon since 2016. That was my first one. And you got the hometown support, you got a crowd, you're gonna see some familiar faces. But when you go to another country, you don't know what to expect. And the beauty of the running community is that you meet so many different people and you're just open to the experience. So, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so the second part of a success system is eliminating excuses. You just talked about running marathons, and I don't think you would mind me sharing this. You are what, 50?
51.
51 years old, and you are a marathoner and a fitness coach, and that could have been easily, age could be an easy excuse to not
Mhm.
do what you're doing. Talk about some of the other excuses you've had to eliminate to get to where you are today.
One thing would be, I can do that tomorrow or I can do that later. That procrastinating spirit, that spirit of procrastination is big. It's real. And I think that's a biggie for me is, that excuse of, oh, I don't feel like it, or oh, I can put it off. Um, those are just excuses that I can't make. I can't say get somebody else to do it because it's up to me. It's on me. Another excuse the biggest is just putting it off until later. Even with the temperature, it's hot. So we're under heat advisories here locally. And it's like if I don't get out and run at 4 o'clock in the morning or before the sun comes up, oh, I can hang it up, for the end of the day. So it's like if I don't combat that excuse at the appointed time, then I miss out because I've tried to, okay, oh, I want to sleep a little bit longer. Now that's not one issue that I have. It's not, oh, I want to get up. I don't feel like getting up. I don't have that problem with waking up. But yeah, the biggest is just putting things off, putting training off, not eating properly. Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. Like, oh, this will be fine, for me to eat these well, I don't eat Takis and that kind of stuff, but just not eating if I'm going to have a long run, for example, on Saturday morning, can't eat trash on Friday night. I have to be sure that I eat a carb, well balanced meal to sustain me for those 10 miles or those 15 miles come Saturday morning.
So look, I know running is a big and fitness is a big part of your life. I also think no, as me being a single mom, I know that you were even though they're grown now, you had time as a single mom. Talk about some of the excuses you had to eliminate to make it as a single mom too.
Ugh. Um, Excuses to eliminate as a single mom was there was nobody else to do it. My ex-husband and I, we separated in 2010. Divorce was final in 2012. So I had my youngest son with me. He was still a teenager. And obstacles that we faced in as a family was, he got to a point where he got kind of rebellious as a teenager, and he didn't understand the choices that I had to make for him in that moment. And so I did not spare the rod. I mean, he'll say, okay, I think I was 15 when I got my last whooping. Okay, right. And so it was knowing that if I didn't do it, whether that was being a mentor, whether that was being a support, whether that was being the hands and feet of Jesus, whether that was being a living example, whether that was coming through with something financially, there was nobody else to do it. So that meant sometimes I had to put myself aside. I had to live in a place that I didn't want to live in. I had a 2-bedroom apartment on Hickory Hill. And we stayed in that apartment. And the 5 years that we were there, someone was killed outside my son's bedroom. And so the choices that I had to make then was, okay, this is where we have to be for now, because this is what I can afford. This works for us. And you're going to be out of high school and going off to college soon. And so it wasn't bad. We made it work. We were clean, we were healthy, we had food. And I believe in the power of prayer and encouraged him to believe in the power of prayer as well. And that's my son that's engaged now. He's a firefighter, getting married, and just he now has a career for himself. And it's not just a testament of some of the choices that I had to make and that I made as a single mom, but some things that I invested in him as well. And the power of prayer, it's nothing like a praying mama or a praying grandmama, and I'm seeing the manifestation of those prayers in both of their lives.
I love it. And you talked about choices. You've made a lot of choices along the journey and some tough choices at times. Talk some more about the third part of the SOA success system, which is calculated choices. Talk about some of the other choices that you've had to make to get to where you are today.
Sometimes we are put in a position where we have to make a choice that's not a favorable choice. I was married for 16 years, and I was in an abusive marriage, and I had to decide for myself. All right, you know what? It's time to roll. And I was pastoring, I was preaching, I was teaching the whole nine, and just dealing with a whole nother level of things behind closed doors. And in that moment of driving from Memphis, I was driving from Memphis to Knoxville over Christmas break one year, 2009. December 2009. And I remember so specifically that I heard a voice say, if you don't get out now, you ain't going to be able to get out. And okay, I'm like, this got to be God, because there are no phones on. These kids are asleep. No radio is on. Ain't nobody else in this car talking to me. And I told no one about my decision. It was a choice that I had to make for me and for my life. And I think a lot of times when we get in situations where we have to make a calculated choice, or we have to make a choice, period, as far as what do we need to do, we tend to consult other people first. We don't consult God. We don't, have a little talk with Jesus. We don't sit still or sit quiet and just meditate on it and just, okay, oh, okay, God, send me a sign, show me something, because I don't know. Because we want the approval of man, and we big on the, no, I don't want nobody's approval. I don't need, yeah, but in actuality, we do. And in that moment when I made that decision, I had so much peace. And because of the peace that came over me, I knew, all right, let's roll. And so that's just one example of making a calculated choice. And I found myself from a professional standpoint, being a personal trainer, and just making decisions, even in consultations, of taking personal training clients on. Every all money ain't good money. And you can't always say yes to every contract or yes to every client. We have to be mindful, we have to be prayerful, and we have to operate in wisdom when we're making those choices, even business choices. And so, yeah, I find myself in positions often where I do have to make calculated choices. And even in making those choices, I'm like, okay, God, this is what I'm rolling with, and just prepare me to roll with the consequences as well. If this ain't you, and it's me. But right now, this is what I'm rolling with.
So, girl, you said a whole lot real fast. That's deep. That is deep. But what I have witnessed you do, and the things that I personally know about you, and what you've just shared, you know how to overcome obstacles personally, professionally, physically, emotionally. But you know how to eliminate excuses, and you know how to calculate choices. You are so a success woman. But Teretta, what would you say is your personal definition of success?
My personal definition of success, and I jotted this down earlier today, in an acronym. It's satisfaction. Satisfaction, it's okay for things to be good to us. It's okay for things to be good for us. And it's okay for us to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Okay. So, satisfaction, good things, feel good things, they unlock. So, satisfaction unlocks continuous contribution and effective self improvement and success. I'll repeat that. Satisfaction unlocks. So if it's not good for you, if you're not excited about it, if you're not passionate about it, you have no satisfaction in doing it, you're still going to be bound. So the satisfaction, it unlocks some stuff. It unlocks productivity. It unlocks resources. It unlocks wealth. Okay. But it also unlocks continuous. Things are going to flow when that unlocking is done. When you open the gate, things are going to flow. When God parted the Red Sea, okay, we know that the Red Sea parted, for the Israelites to go through. But then when the flow came back in, okay, there was a continuous flow on Pharaoh and his army, but the Israelites, they were able to continue on. So it unlocks continuous contribution. When you're passionate, when you love what you're doing, you got that continuous overflow, the continuous contribution to effective self-improvement, to effective success, to effective answers. Okay, I know I threw that A on there, but to effective self-improvement, because everything that we do as a part of success is not just for other people's success, but be successful as well. I want my success story to not just help me, but to help other people as well. So satisfaction unlocks continuous contributions and effective self-improvement and success.
I
So
love
that's
it,
the
Teretta.
definition
I
of success.
love it. I love it. Okay, one last question. That was really, really good. I felt that unlock too. Uh,
Yeah,
that was good. That was good. Last
that's my
question.
local preach, Summer.
I feel it. I said she getting into it. She getting into it. I love it. I love it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. What's one last piece of advice that you would give someone who's watching this, who wants to feel that success, who needs help getting maybe that satisfaction or with that unlock part? What's one piece of advice you would give somebody watching this on how to be successful?
The one piece of success I would give to someone, to you, to be successful is don't be afraid of failure.
That's good.
Don't be afraid of failure. It's okay to fail. Just make sure that when you fail, you're failing forward. Okay. Because it's in that failure that you can grow. It's in that failure, that you can learn. What can you glean from that failure? And just because you fall, just because you fail that one time or those many times, it doesn't mean you can't get back up. It doesn't mean you can't try again. It doesn't mean you can't get a do-over. So don't be afraid of failure. Accept that failure, embrace that failure, learn from the failure, and let that contribute or lean in even the more to your success.
I love it. I love it. And I'll add to it. I get excited about failure because what that means is you tried something. It
Mhm.
means you
Yeah,
tried. It means you
yeah.
tried. Teretta, thank you, girl. This was good. This was
Summer.
power packed, just like you are. I am excited for you in Tokyo and everything else to come. And we need to do lunch soon.
We will.
All right.
Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your support. And thank you for having me here on your platform of So What Success Stories.
Thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. Love you, girl.
Love you. Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.